Hello all. Well, we finally did get that rain. Here we got between 3 and 5 inches of rain, and up north of us, just the next mountain range, little hills, where we go riding our bikes, got up to 20 inches of rain by Sunday. Last couple days it's been rain free. Let's get right over to the oil and gas news. This ought to be interesting. This part of the discussion is about where did peak oil, where did it come from, and when did it happen? This is what I think's happened. And I think actually it's probably a little technical difficulties. Okay, so we sort of stayed on the plateau, and then just a little bit a while ago we start going down, and I think we're right here, and this is the oil graph. Okay, the shale oil or fracking oil does something like this. And I do believe they're also on the decline. This is why. Okay, this is the results of our rain. 3 to 5 inches. It was probably more like 5 inches up in here. But that's called wet dirt. It's the first drink that these plants have had in a year. And there's this smell in the forest on the first rain of the year, when we finally get our winter. It has this fantastic smell, and now I'm starting to hear birds again and that sort of thing. So maybe life will come back to this dried up dead forest. Okay, one of the ways that the oil and gas companies count whether we're going, that they claim shows that we're increasing oil production and not decreasing, is the amount of oil rig throughout the world and the US. So let's go look at that. Okay, the US oil drilling rigs the count is 1,771, down 14 rigs. That's a combination of oil and gas. Worldwide, land rigs are down 14, offshore rigs are down 3, horizontal drilling rigs are -3, directional drilling rigs are -14, and gas rigs are -7. And that's from the 1st of February till the 14th of February 2014. That's a very short time to have so many rigs going out of business. Let's be fair. Texas and a few other states in the US did increase some rigs by 2 to 3 rigs in that amount of time, to a total increase of, I believe it's 5 or 6 rigs. I couldn't really quite tell, but the overall US rig count is down by 14. So there was a new study out about climate change, and the deniers are so quick to say that the climate is not heating up as fast as it was. That's how they phrase it, when they should say the land is not heating up as fast as it was. What's happened is the land has gotten saturated with heat and is now transferring it to the oceans, which are now heating up at an alarming rate. Both the north and south poles in the ice fjords are heating up incredibly fast. So while the land takes a break, the oceans and the ice areas are increasing in temperatures at such an alarming rate that it shows that we're almost runaway greenhouse effect. And you know what happens if that happens. So I wanted to comment about the comments. The comments are coming in, but as I said before, I can't read half of them. Half of them are gone, or it says there's 4 and you look and there's only 2, or there's 3 and there's only 1, or something like, or none at all. Sometimes it says you have a comment and you look and there's no comments at all. So keep commenting. I'm sure everybody else can read them, and at least there is a communications going on until Google decides to fix this. You notice how much priority they give YouTube. Okay, let's just talk about oil for a minute. Let's talk about the rate of supply. In other words, how much oil is coming in to how much is going out. So think of oil worldwide as a reservoir, and there's oil coming in and oil being sucked out. If there's more oil being sucked out than is pouring in, you've got problems. Okay, rate of supply of oil. Let's do some examples. Tar sands, less than 2% of world supply annually, yearly. So tar sands will never get up high enough to even make a dent in the oil supply. Conventional oil, which is the regular oil, not gas, not liquids, coal to liquids or any of that, conventional oil is about 7 billion barrels per day. And that's when the peak was. That was between 2005 and 2010. It looked like we have a top of the peak here. You know, if you want to just do it this way, it went from 2005 to 2010. Now, from 1930 to 2001, annual oil rates of supplies rose 9% per year. There's no rise at all now. Okay, now the next issue is how long before we get to the halfway point of the decline of peak oil. So we went up, came down, and now we're going down. How long will it take from here to here, the halfway point of peak? Some studies say between 5 and 10 years, and a few studies from the oil companies say it's 20 years away before we get to the halfway point. Let's see now, half of 7 billion is, now we're increasing our population exponentially and we're decreasing our oil supply. That's just a fact. Now the US says that they are going to become the oil supplier of the world. Well, let's look at some numbers. I don't think so. Okay, the world at present is pumping about 7 billion barrels per day. That's 7 billion barrels per day. The U.S. says that they're going to take over the world production. In 1970, U.S. peaked at 9,637,000 barrels per day. 1,000 barrels per day, not billion barrels per day. 1,000. Okay, then they declined to 5,000 barrels per day. Then they rose again in the last few years to 6,488,000 barrels per day. The U.S. would have to pump so much oil to even make a dent on the world market. Look at that. That's the oil production. Okay, at this time, let's talk about natural gas. Okay, worldwide production of natural gas is 3,370 billion cubic meters, or 97 trillion cubic feet. That's an increase of 3% per year. Peak gas is expected in 2020 at 100 trillion cubic feet. From that time on, it's all downhill. Now let's go look at the U.S. Okay, the world gas production worldwide is 3,370 cubic meters, or 95 trillion cubic feet per year. U.S. gas production is up 2.5%. It's right now at 681 billion cubic feet of gas per year. Peak gas is expected 2020 at 22 trillion cubic feet per year. Now, the U.S. is supposed to be at 95. That's such an increase, it isn't going to happen. The U.S. isn't going to supply the world with oil, nor is it going to supply the world with natural gas. The numbers just don't prove it to be there. Okay, I wanted to show you this. These are trees that are covered with these vines, and the vines grow almost to the top of the trees. But this year, most of the vines are now dead because they just couldn't hold out any longer without water. Okay, well, thanks for all the comments and the likes and dislikes and the subscriptions, and I don't know how many other things are going to add to the thing. I think it was overboard. It used to be really nice when it was I think it was a number system. That was kind of neat because you didn't have to give them a 5, you could go with a 4 or a 3, and you got much better feedback on whether people liked your videos or not. Right now it's just sort of, you know, it's either you give them a positive or a negative, but I don't know how that really helps you anyways. Anyway, till next time.